Alright, so today we will get started. I actually got a new pen this week, so woohoo! So we're just going to start by making whatever shape you want. Just draw in, to draw the pattern in. Right, and then anywhere in the shape, or in the section, you're going to draw a Y shape. So it doesn't have to be a perfect Y, they can be at wonky angles. We just want to make sure that that bottom tail is kind of straight. The other ones can go off in any direction. And then you want to outline it. I got a little close there. You want to draw a line, basically another V. It's not touching the Y. So you want to do the outline here without touching the actual first Y that you drew. And you want to make sure that you kind of keep it close. You don't have to have it as close as I have it. If you want a little bit more white space, that's fine. It is kind of hard to draw these pretty close, pretty straight, but something like that is good. You're going to turn your paper, and then you're going to do the exact same thing. You're just going to repeat this same Y shape. And again, remember, they can go at any angle. Even the Y pieces, one can kind of go more off to the side. You don't have to be at the same, like I said, the same angle, I suppose. And when I get to the bottom part, this tail, it's going to be drawn behind the first one. So what I mean by that is I'm going to stop and then jump over the first one that I drew, so it looks like it's going behind. I'm not going to draw any of these lines or any of the next pieces that I draw in over or through anything. They're all going to go behind. So the next line I hit, I'm going to stop and jump, and then go all the way through. And that's how you make it look like there's kind of stacked on top of each other. So you can do that for all of the rest of them, no matter how many you draw. Getting kind of full. I'm just gonna see if there's any spots where I might want another one. It's kind of blank up here, so I'll draw another one right up here. Again, you can fill this up as much as you want or as little as you want. It's entirely up to you. Maybe you want to only have a couple that go through the space and then you want to do something different with the background. You certainly can do that. You don't have to fill up the entire section with these Y shapes. Good, I think. So I'm going to leave mine again. You can have as many or as little as you like. And now I'm going to take my big marker and I'm going to color my background. Again, this is optional. I think it looks really neat. It makes those little Y shapes really pop off the page. But again, you can do something else. Like you could just color in a couple. You could kind of do a stained glass effect with some colored pencils. And you can kind of have it be, I don't know, darker colors coming up from the bottom, fading off the light ones, it's up to you. Or of course you could do another pattern behind there. So it's entirely up to you what you want to do with this background. I'm just going to color them in. Looks pretty cool. Again, you can do whatever you like with that. I go on to the second one. I'm just going to draw another shape. And then vertically through this space, I'm going to draw some wavy lines. And the wave lengths should be different. So this one here I'm going to draw kind of just pretty big. This one has a little bit more. You should have them go in opposite directions, or start in opposite directions. That one will go to the right. This one will go to the left. And you just draw as many as you want across the space. The pattern shouldn't be the same. The waves shouldn't look the same. I'm just going to kind of do a little peekaboo here, maybe a little peekaboo here, just to indicate that it goes off the page. It's up to you. Across the space, you're going to draw another wavy line. It can be something gradual like this, or it can be a little bit more wavy, whatever you want. The top sections here, you're going to draw arched lines that go over the top, kind of like a rainbow shape. Bottom, you're going to draw little smiles, so they're going to be arched lines going under. So I'll show you what I mean here. So I'm just going to draw them kind of close together. And they should be not just arch lines that kind of die from one side to the other. You should kind of come up the sideline, do your arch, and then go down the other sideline a little bit. Kind of like we talk about that C shape when you're drawing arch lines, where you kind of slide along the original line. And then here I'm going to do the bottom one. So this line here is actually part of the design, so you're going to draw your next one. Right underneath that, like what I call the center, I don't know, the horizontal line, I don't know what I call it. So again, I'm doing the C shape in kind of a smiley shape. You don't have to worry about being completely consistent with your arches here. Some can be a little bit wider than others. It looks really neat, so just kind of play around with it. So now I'm going to go back over the top. Do them kind of in the rainbow shape, that C shape. And they don't need to line up with the one next to it. You can have one that's a little bit tighter arches and one that's further apart. You can manipulate it however you want. And now I'm going to go below and do the small part. The trick to getting it started is that the first line that you draw on either side of the horizontal line should be relatively close to the line. You don't want to have that huge white gap kind of opening in the center, so you want to draw that first line relatively close to the horizontal on either side. Doesn't that look neat? It's a bunch of like, I don't know, wormy pieces, I guess. So now when it gets to these areas, like right around the horizontal line, you can kind of see it gets a little darker on its own just from the marker being close. I'm going to go and I'm just going to add a little bit of a line, kind of like a little highlight line, to make that section pop. It just makes it look like it's a little bit more 3D. There's a little bit extra shadowing in there. You can certainly use a pencil and do your shading however you want, but I'm just going to do it with my marker, and I'm really just going over the wavy line to kind of fatten up just that one little section there. You could add color to these, you could watercolor these, whatever it is that you want to do. They look pretty neat. And if you have a really large section that you're filling this in, you can add extra horizontal lines and just do it a couple more times. So it's up to you what you want to do with it. Just like that. So see, it looks pretty neat. Alright, so now we're going to do the last one. It can be used as a border, medallion, centerpiece. You can use it to fill a section, whatever it is you want. So you're just going to draw an X or a plus or a T of some kind anywhere in the section. Don't make it too small. I probably could make mine a little bit bigger than this one, but we'll just go then like that for now. You're going to put a dot on the end, a dot halfway in between, and then another dot halfway in between those 2 points. So you want to have 4 dots here. So you're going to put the halfway point right in the middle, and then another halfway. So it should be basically broken into quarters. So I always find the midpoint first, and then divide the other 2 sections that remain. I know it's kind of hard to see on the video, but you should have 4 points, and the 4th point being the end. So from the end point, you're going to draw it to the first dot. So no matter which side you start on. You want a straight line as straight as you can, but you don't need to use a ruler. You're going to do that for all 4 sides of that line. So I'm just drawing it from the end point to the first dot on the other segment. Okay. So now I'm going to come down 1 dot, and I'm going to go out 1 dot. So I'm going to draw from the second dot to the middle dot. Middle dot, back up. So it should go all the way around. So just kind of work your way around. Now you're going to go from the middle dot to the 3rd dot. And it can really bug with it can trick your eyes out a little bit once you get all these lines on here. So just be sure you kind of stop and take a look where you're going. And then back up to my middle dot. And now I'm going to go to my 4th dot to my end point. Just like that. So again, you don't want to make them too small, just because it gets really, really hard to do it. You certainly can, once you've practiced a couple times, make them tiny. So it looks really cool. So now we're going to do like a checkerboard fill-in pattern. So just pick one section, doesn't matter which one, and then you're going to alternate which one you color in. Again, you can do this in color. You can leave it white if that's what you want and do something with the outside of it. It's entirely up to you. Just make sure you stop and pay attention. You kind of want to do it in rows or columns, however you want to be able to keep it straight, so that you can see which one you're supposed to be coloring in. Because like I said, it can mess with your eyes pretty quick. So there's one little triangle out on the end. Isn't that neat? I love it. So now I'm going to draw kind of how you can I'm going to show you how you can turn it into a border. You don't have to do this part if you don't want to. You can just watch. But I'm going to show you that you can draw them all your lines at different angles. So you can have it like one here is a little bit longer on the other side. It's kind of more of a T shape. I'm still going to divide my lines the same. So I find my midpoint and then my 2 quarter points, and then I'm just going to follow the exact same pattern here that I did for the other ones with the lines. So now I'm going to work, it's the same thing, I'm just working from the inside out. It doesn't matter. As long as you do the end point to the first dot on the other line, you're going to get the same type of thing. And it's very easy to mess it up. I did it a couple times on a past practice page, and if you mess up one line, it looks really funny, and then you can't, unless you do it with a pencil, you can't erase it. So just take your time, make sure you're going to the right line, to the right dot, drawing the line to the right dot, and you'll be all set. Alright, so now on the very end of this one, going in whatever direction you want, I'm just going to draw another one. It's going to come straight off, or relatively straight off, and then I'm going to make it whatever size or shape I want. So this one's a little bit different shape than the other one. The line segments are a little bit different, but I'm going to do the exact same thing. So I'm just going to be quiet and draw this one, and then you can see how you can, what it would look like as a border. Alright, so isn't that neat? It's really cool. So again, you can add color into these, you can do whatever you want. Again, you can use it as a fill for one of the sections that you have if you have kind of a smaller wonky section. So I hope that you enjoyed what we did today. Don't forget you can always join me live in the library every Thursday at 4 o'clock. You do need to be registered, and of course you do need to wear a mask and all that sort of thing. So I hope that you have a wonderful day. Bye!